So as you know, if you saw my last video, some things are going to change here on Retro Claude. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend starting with that video because things will make a lot more sense. It's quite an emotional watch and it was quite difficult for me to talk about, so I don't really want to go into it all again. But as a reminder, I've been struggling with some new health complications recently, which mean I cannot sew anymore, which has put me in a difficult position as somebody who makes sewing videos for a living. By the time you see this, it probably actually hasn't been that long for you, but it's been a good 2 months for me. And I've had a lot of time to think and reflect and read your comments, which were just like, Not only were you all incredibly supportive, kind, understanding, generous, all those wonderful things, he also had some great suggestions for things I could try. And as a result, I've actually been feeling more optimistic. I was going to use the word inspired. I'm not quite at that point yet, but I've been feeling more optimistic about the future. So I do feel now, nearly 2 months later from when I made that video, and this whole crisis has been going on since August, I feel the best I've felt about it since then, basically. So I think it is time to not make plans. Obviously I called the video that because that's like a trend that happens in January, isn't it? But this is more like my strategy, if you like, going forward. So first of all, I'd like to talk about the aspects of Retro Claude as a business which are going to have to change going forward. And I want to talk about this because some of the changes could be interpreted as a sort of cynical cash grab, and yeah, I mean, I could see that argument, but at the same time, I feel like if you know where I'm starting from, you might be a bit more sympathetic. So realistically, over the past year, I have realised I can only really work, whether that's sewing work, YouTube work, other things I do like freelance public speaking and freelance writing. On average, I can only manage 8 to 10 hours of work a week. And that is including some weeks where I do a lot and some weeks where I can't do anything at all. Now, I'm hopeful that should my health improve, I could do more hours, but realistically, I have to accept that that is where I currently am. Now, the amount that I made last year on YouTube, doing approximately 8 to 10 hours of work, I would have made more working at a minimum wage job. But that's just it. I physically cannot do that sort of job. This is currently my only option. So I have to find a way to make this work that I currently do more profitable. So for context, so you understand the seriousness of my position, I've just double checked the figures. Minimum wage for someone of my age in the UK is currently £10.23 an hour. So 10 hours a week is £102.30. The poverty line for a single working age person, which I am, is £150 a week. The level of destitution, that's destitution, not poverty, £95 a week. And I am much closer to the £95 a week bracket than I am the £150 a week bracket. I actually hadn't realised it was that bad. Okay, moving on. You understand why I need to make more money. So thankfully, there is quite a simple way for me to make more money without doing more hours of work, which would have a detrimental impact on my health. I need to find a way to get more views on YouTube, because then I can carry on doing what I'm already doing. I'll just get paid more for it. So there are some things I'm going to do which I'm not thrilled about. On my back catalogue of videos, I'm going to put as many mid-roll ads as possible. Now, I recently saw a video explaining this. Just because I put them in doesn't mean you necessarily get served one. And YouTube learns the audience member's tolerance for mid-roll ads. So if they really annoy you, if you just keep clicking off videos every time you get one, YouTube will eventually learn and show you fewer. So we're hacking the system here. But my logic there is I have quite a few videos on my channel from years ago that are not very good, that don't have very good titles and thumbnails and things, and they earn me like 3p a month. If I could make those just a fraction more profitable, that's a start. I also am going to try and do some things to grow this channel. So I have been neglecting my Instagram account for a very long time. I'm going to try and reboot that. That might be more work. I don't know. I'm trying to think of sort of low energy ways to do that. And also the way things are going in terms of content generally online is short form video content, whether that's TikTok, Reels, or YouTube's version Shorts. I personally am going to be focusing on YouTube Shorts. That's because that's the only monetizable option for me currently. Instagram and TikTok do not pay you per view the same way that YouTube does for if you're based in the UK, basically. I believe there are other sort of creator programs available if you live in other parts of the world on Instagram and TikTok. They're not an option for me, so I'm going to focus on YouTube Shorts. I am, however, going to repurpose the YouTube content on Instagram as Reels, which is currently how you grow on Instagram. Instagram have admitted it. They're pushing Reels. We don't like it. There's nothing we can do about it. I will also add, I quite enjoy making and watching short form content. Not only is that easier for me, but I've also been really inspired by the community and creativity that I've seen grow up around short form video. And I have lots of ideas that are quite quick and easy to implement. I will say, however, short form video generally is a lot less profitable. So I make per 1,000 views for a short video and 1/100th of what I make per 1,000 views on a long form video. So if I make £5 per 1,000 views on one of my regular long YouTube videos, I get 5p for 1,000 views on a short. So it's not a get rich quick scheme, but what it does do is bring new people in. This is the way that the platforms at the minute are pushing new content. It's the short content they're pushing. So my hope is that this is one of the ways that I can quite easily and quickly get more people to watch the content I'm already making. You see, it's all about playing the system a little bit here. So another aspect of this trying to grow the channel, get more views, repurpose old content a little bit. I saw this video, I've been doing a lot of research. I saw this video about the power of the compilation video. For whatever reason, YouTube loves watch time. So YouTube would rather you sat through 2 hours of a 6-hour video of mine then watch 4 half-hour videos. I don't really understand how it works, but all I've seen is the results. They make these compilation videos of their old videos. YouTube starts to push their channel, their subscriber count, their view counts go up. So I'm going to try that as well. So in February, I've been editing them together. I'm just going to upload a load of compilation videos of my old stuff. So anything that was in parts previously, you know, where there was like a making the skirt, making the sleeves, whatever video, I'm going to chop those together and make those a compilation. I'm also going to do a stash busting compilation. However, that one's 6 hours long, and apparently, according to my editing software, it's going to take 24 hours to export. So I need to block out 24 hours where I don't need my laptop to actually export that one. But my hope is also that that will be a better viewing experience for you. I know a lot of people have said and commented that between my uploads, because they are few and far between, they binge my old content. So I'm hoping that a 6-hour compilation video will mean less adverts for you, less having to find the next part, pressing skip, all that sort of thing, so that you also get something out of this. That's my hope anyway. I'm also hoping it will be an opportunity for me. Some of my older videos that I'm actually quite proud of, there are a few of them that I think are really good. I just did a really bad job of promoting them, or doing the thumbnails and the titles and the concepts are a bit off. So I'm hoping if I can repackage them with a new pretty bow, then I might make a bit more money now that I'm better at things like titles and thumbnails and adding the tags and the relevant descriptions and all those things that help a video do well on YouTube. I'm also hoping that that might plug a bit of the gap for you while I am taking some time off, because while I am doing sort of computer YouTube work at the minute, very slowly still, but I am doing it, I'm not really ready to film and produce more content yet. I have a lot of ideas, and like I say, I'm almost there in terms of being inspired to make them, but I'm just not ready yet. I need a bit more time. So I still have the old project videos that I'm editing. I have all the ones from the ball, which I've got like 5 more of those, so I need to get through those and get those out for you, and hopefully that will be some new exciting content that you haven't seen yet that I can make for you without actually having to sew or knit anything. I am gradually coming back to knitting. I've started a crochet project, which I've found slightly easier than knitting in terms of my neck at the minute. So there might be a stash busting at some point, I'm not sure, but I think what I'm going to do is a bit like when I took time off last time, take away the pressure of having to make a video per month. And when I have enough stuff to show you that it's worthy of a nice long video, because as we know, YouTube likes those, I will make an update for you from the past 3, 4, 5 months, however long it is. So that's what to expect over the next few months. But in terms of plans for new things, I want to do a series which is simply called Claude Tries New Things. Loads of people had many excellent suggestions. I saw some I'd never heard of. Diamond painting? I don't know, but I want to try it, you know? That's sort of the attitude I want to approach this with. I'm an enthusiastic, amateur hobbyist. I've never done this thing before. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I'm trying it here with you for the first time to see if maybe you might like it too. And if I do find things that stick with me, then I might make more videos about them. If not, I'll move on to the next one. I think that's one of the things that is going to keep me motivated through this difficult period. The novelty of new things, the freedom of, it didn't work, I didn't like it, I wasn't any good at it, oh well, on to the next thing. I think that's how we're going to get through the next, I don't know how many months. So I've created a list. Look, you can look on my list here on the whiteboard. So many things. These are just ideas. I've got 3D printing. I don't own a 3D printer, but I'm hoping I can try it. Lace making, lino printing, stained glass, woodwork, pottery. I mean, some of them are ridiculous and I don't really know what I was thinking. I've got electronics on here. Pottery. Like I have the energy and the strength to throw pottery. Anyway, it's a little bit aspirational. But that's sort of what I want. I sort of need that, what do I mean? The sort of innocence is bliss attitude of it. I'm just going to try it and see. And maybe it will be a terrible failure. Oh well. So that is the sort of random content you can expect from me. But I do also want to try and find a way to do some sewing. Maybe this is delusional, I don't know. But I can't just give it up completely. I can't. I have to find a way to make it work for me, and that is what I preach on the internet about sewing with a disability. So it's time to practice what I preach. I need to find a way to do it. So that if that means hand sewing in bed, as much as I know I don't really enjoy that, if the alternative is not sewing at all, I'll do it. If it's only sewing in 10-minute chunks, if it's getting people to help me, whatever it is, I want to find a way to do it. Now, a lot of this depends on my physio appointment, which I still haven't had, but I have some ideas, so I thought I'd share them with you to see what you think. So I've had this idea for a series called Comfy Claude, which is me essentially making comfortable, basic, jersey, mostly easy to make clothes. The logic here being they're much quicker, much less involved. I don't see a massive amount of people, particularly in sort of the vintage sewing community, working with jersey, and I think it's one of those things that people can be quite intimidated by. So maybe some helpful, friendly tuition on that might go down well. I also want to make some everyday kind of basic clothes that I currently want to wear. One of the issues I'm facing is that I've lost all interest in fashion and style generally. I just want to be comfortable. I think that's the pain. Hopefully, my desire to be glamorous and extravagant in the way that I dress will come back. But at the minute, all I want to wear is leggings and hoodies. So I'm going to make leggings and hoodies because that's where I am now, and that's okay. Like I say, that at the minute this is just an idea because I have no idea whether I'll be well enough to actually do that, because it still involves cutting out and sewing and pinning things together, even if it's much quicker. Fingers crossed, I don't know. My other idea is, again, it's part of this practicing what I preach. I can just about sew for about 15 minutes, which is not a lot of time to get anything done. And I have some works in progress that I've been really desperate to make. One of the issues I'm having with this is not even so much the sewing itself, losing the act of sewing, it's the freedom to make whatever I want. I'm having to buy ready-to-wear clothes. I mean, I'm thrifting them, but they just fit terribly. And every garment I try on, I'm like, oh, I like it, but it'd be better if this was here and this was here. And why doesn't it have pockets? And it's a bit long because I'm a bit short and all those sorts of things. And it's that freedom of creating something that's perfect for you, that fits just the way you like it. That is what I'm missing. And there's a garment I've been wanting to make that I could really do with in my life. Like I need it. I'm talking about a rain cape here. And this is because recently I've become more of a wheelchair user. I go out in my power chair. The power chair isn't waterproof. And so I want to make a sort of trendier wheelchair cape than the sort of plastic ponchos that you get. And I found a pattern and I've cut the fabric with help from a friend. So my plan is to make a series where I try and sew it in 15-minute chunks. And that's it. I set a timer, 15-minute timer. I get what I can get done in that 15-minute timer. The timer goes off no matter what. I stop and I go and lie down and I put my heat pad on my neck. I like the idea. In theory, I just haven't figured out how that's going to become a video series yet, because I had my first attempt at making a video and I sort of just filmed it live as I did the first few steps, and most of the footage is me going, where have I put my scissors? You know, it's just not very interesting. And I don't know, I haven't found a way to make it interesting yet. So I don't know whether I want to make it lots of very short videos, maybe just 5 minutes of sewing. So it's just the very core steps that I've done. And it's maybe just like an every now and again update. I've done another 15 minutes on this project and the video's 5 minutes long. I don't know. I don't know whether that would be better as a short. So a minute long video of I'm back making this and in this 15-minute section, I got this much done and see you next time. Maybe both. Or maybe I sew the entire project in 15-minute chunks and then just make the sort of video I would usually make, and it's sort of a footnote to that video. I made this project in 15-minute chunks and you can do it too if you want to. See, now that I'm playing this YouTube game, there's a part of me that's like, you should do all three. So maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. Like I say, haven't decided yet. I don't even know if I'll physically be able to do it just yet. So they're sort of my sewing project videos I want to make, but there are some non-project related videos I want to start making as well. I want to start making some more talking head videos like this. Firstly, because they're very low energy for me. I get to sit down, all I have to do is wave my hands around, and then all the work is done later in the edit or in the script writing and all those sorts of things. So I might make some videos, and this is one of the things that a lot of people suggested as well, about fashion history or costume design or other things that I have a lot of knowledge about that are still relevant to this subject matter here on Retro Claude, but they're kind of like interesting rabbit holes, I don't know, that I've gone down or something like that. So whether they'll be fashion history, whether they'll be sewing tips, whether it'll be sort of instructional sewing videos that aren't project based, so things like how to choose fabric for your project or how to know which styles are going to suit you, I don't know, something like that. I'm going to come up with some ideas, make lots of different ones of them and see which ones do well, because unfortunately that is going to have to drive what I decide to carry on making. See my previous point, destitution. On a similar note, I do want to make more skills-based sewing tutorials. It's one of the things, like I said, I looked at my analytics and some of my previous videos earned me £3 a month. My very early videos where it's just like 5 minutes of me teaching you how to do a slip stitch, they earn me like £5 a month. And they're not brilliant, they're 3 years old at this point. It's a very sound financial investment from my point of view to make some more of those videos. Again, I don't know whether I'll physically be able to. I'll maybe have to pick and choose the skills that I am able to demonstrate. But it's what's known in the industry as evergreen content. There's always going to be people Googling how to sew on a button, for example. How I manage to do all of this, find the time and the energy and make it work, I have no idea. I have vastly overcommitted myself, I know, as usual. But I like that. I've come to realise that I'm the sort of person I have to have a lot of options to choose from, not just for the sake of my chaotic brain, but also because of my variable energy level. Okay, I'm not up to making a sewing tutorial or a sewing project video this month. What other ideas have I got? Can I talk about vintage knitting? Can I talk about the aesthetic dress movement? Whatever it is, I need to have that variety to be able to keep doing this. So I don't really know how to sum up this video or make a conclusion or anything, because it's all so up in the air still. So a few extra notes I would like to add to this. Thank you so much for all the support I've received on Ko-fi as a result of that previous video. that has been incredibly overwhelming. And I never intended for it to sort of be a case of, please support me, I'm going through a hard time sort of thing. I very deliberately tried to avoid any suggestion of that, but a lot of you did it anyway, and it's incredible that I don't even have to ask, let's put it that way, and you're there for me. So thank you. I will say a lot of the things on my list that I want to try going forward, I have bought some supplies already, and I would not have been able to afford to do that without your support. So I just would like to let you know how important you are. So not only are you funding the kind of artistic freedom to try new things, you are also buying the supplies. I literally couldn't do it without you, so thank you very much. I will also say the comments on that video, don't cry on the internet, don't cry on the internet. As many of you know, I live with my parents, and I have done since before I started Retro Claude. So my mum and dad have been here with me on this journey, and they've been incredibly supportive, and I couldn't have done it without them. My dad literally built me this studio so I could work, and they both of them have mentioned to me just how incredibly moving your comments on that last video were, and how incredible it's been for them to read how much this means to people, and for other people to recognise that what we've built here is not just a sewing channel. And I don't know why, but for some reason, having other people recognise how important this is, to not just to me, but to you watching this, for some reason that external validation has strengthened my resolve to find a way to make this work. I mean, I was already pretty determined, but I was also under no illusion that it was going to be incredibly difficult. And it feels a bit easier now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.